Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 7 of the Sim Experience 2023 Alwin Radical Cup, coming to you live from Mugello in Tuscany, Italy. So tonight is the second last round of our championship. I will possibly be joined by Julian Brains again tonight, but I am your commentator, Dennis Mitchell. And of course, this is the second last round, and the final round will be back in South Africa at Zwartkops, which will be next week, power permitted, but I believe that should be fine. So next week we will round up the championship, and after this head into a Automobilista 2 championship of sorts, which will be the first time we do that, so we might have some teething problems, but hopefully all goes to plan. But this series we of course are driving in the Radical Cup, which is a 1300cc engine, roughly 195 brake horsepower with 320 newton meters of torque, 620 kilograms, so it's very good power to weight ratio, 226 kilometers an hour in 3.3 seconds, so it's pretty mighty with its power to weight ratio. It accelerates and leaves you pretty solid in your seat that you can't move. I'm just having a look at our drivers as they're now heading out on track, so I'm actually going to just jump away from that, and we are officially live now. So qualifying has just started, so just to let you know, it is now qualifying. It is a 20-minute qualifying session, which will be followed by two 20-minute races. The first race will be starting from the position that they're qualifying. The second race will be a top 10 reverse grid. So at the moment I think we're just over 10 drivers. I'm not sure how many more will join as the power comes on for some and goes off for others. 8 o'clock is usually a sort of turning point for the power, for those that don't understand how load shedding works. Some drivers will be joining just after 8 as their power comes on. So qualifying is 20 minutes. That gives them enough time to hopefully jump in and join for race 1, otherwise race 2. Alright, let's just, while we are watching some of the drivers heading out, I'm going to just show a new feed that we have for tonight, which is Stan Bezuidenhout. He is busy driving at the moment, so good evening Stan. He is now live with us. I'm not sure if we have any sound from this particular feed, but if we don't, I will try and rectify it while we are live. But at the moment that is Stan's feed, which we will be jumping to sporadically throughout the stream, so keep an eye out for that. We can go back now to qualifying. Alright, so currently on board with Andre Hildebrandt and now Peter Murray. The times I'm sure will start popping in nice and quick. I was seeing 1 minute 50.1, I believe, was the fastest time so far posted by Shaun Clarke. As we see Shaun Clarke now on screen, good timing. He is of course our championship leader, and I don't have a printout of that, but what I will do is read out the championship standings so everyone can know what is happening there. Let me just get that up quickly. So currently in first place we have Shaun Clarke on 182 points, from Yondre Dupinard in second on 129, Richard Salier in third on 126, Peter Geldenes on 103 points in fourth place, Adrian Nel 91 points in fifth place, Andre Hildebrandt in sixth, 69 points, Peter Murray on 56 points in seventh place, Wilro Dupinard on 51 points in eighth, Jean-Andre de Toy on 51 points in ninth, Fabio Goos in 10th on 35 points, Donny Stander 11th place with 31 points, Dinash 12th with 27 points, Rian van der Westhuizen 13th with 26 points, Jason Underwood 14th with 24 points, Brandon Robert 15th with 20 points, Mr. Immelman, Wilro Immelman, I believe it's Wilro, in 16th with 18 points, in 17th Sean Johnson with 12 points, in 18th place Julian Brains with 8 points, in 19th JP Salier with 5 points, and in 20th place we have Spaz, which I've just had a mental breakdown, I can't remember his name. I will get back to that as soon as my brain decides to wake up. It's on the tip of my tongue. It is Wesselviljoen. Apologies for that. My brain has decided to wake up. Alright, so currently 11 drivers on track as we are now watching Shaun here. Right, as we now watch Stan Bezednote, who is our other cameraman for the evening. Some drivers offer to share their feeds. Unfortunately tonight Stan is the only driver sharing his feed. And I don't have Julian joining me yet, but possibly this evening he will join later. Just going to wait and see. I might jump into the live commentary later on with the drivers chat and just speak to some of the drivers live while they're on track. You could perhaps go to an onboard, follow them and get some insight from them. Which would hopefully give you guys a little bit more entertainment value, I should say. Alright, I'm just going to have a look quickly at our second machine and see if we can get a view there for you guys, perhaps. Perhaps now would be a good time to find one of those other drivers. Let's see if I can find one of them. At the moment there's only 2 drivers in the chat. Most of the drivers jump out into their own private chats, or team chats. But let's see, out of the 2 that are there, it is Harvey and it is Shaun. Let's perhaps jump to Shaun. Shaun, I believe, has won the title already. Judging by the points, if my math is correct, I don't believe he is catchable at the moment. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is out of reach. I'm just going to see if we can get a nice view. And hopefully we can see what he is doing while we are chatting to him. So our camera is ready. I am going to just see if Shaun is available. Let me see if I can pull him over here. It doesn't seem like it wants to. Alright, good evening Shaun, can you hear us?
I said I already get a note.
Lekker, we can hear you perfectly now, and we are now watching you as well. So we are watching you live on your flying lap. Perhaps you could talk us through it slightly while you're going as hard as you can at it.
Yes, probeer maar. Kom on.
You've got plenty of time should you mess it up, or should this distract you. You have 13 minutes left.
Let's see if I can make it. Well, I did it at 49.8 now. Qualify practice.
Okay, that was actually just after last I saw you on a 50.1. I obviously looked away just after you did that, so it must have been in the dying moments.
Yeah, I think so.
But you are currently in second place, so you're slightly off at the moment.
That corner there, I keep fucking up.
49.824 is currently the time to beat, and you are 2 tenths off, so if you do your best time you will definitely be able to challenge. Alright, are you on a fast lap or is this you on your out lap?
I'm going for my fast lap now.
Alright, we'll stay with you for this lap then.
Okay, cool.
Perhaps I can try and get some of the track names up while we do that. I didn't get prepared for that. Let's see if I can Google it fast enough in the background. Alright, into turn 1, then into turn 2. I believe I shouldn't try and pronounce those because my Italian is really, really bad. San Donato is about the only corner I think I know I can pronounce correctly. Nice amount of curb there, nice and smooth, keeping the car good. And while you're on the lap, I am going to then perhaps just look at the live timing so we can see you did a 27.709 in sector 1, so not your best. Let's see how the rest of the lap pans out. It's still not a bad sector though. 2 tenths off Jean-Louis Dutour's personal best, which is the fastest overall. Getting the back end to slide slightly and catching it nicely there.
Just that's not gonna work.
Alright, I see you got a red middle sector.
Yeah.
Was that just going over the curve too much there?
Yeah.
Alright, are we going to leave you to it? Are we going to jump away then and I will come back to you later on? I will put you back into the main voice chat.
Alright, cool, thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Alright, well that was something that hopefully you all enjoyed. Something a little different. So as we now go to Peter Murray, watching Peter Murray coming on, I believe this into the final turn. And let's see how this lap pans out for Peter. Peter is currently in 10th place. It is personal sector 1 and 2 personal bests. Let's see if he improves. He had a 56.064. Let's see what it's going to be. He does indeed jump up to 6th place. That's a nice gain of almost 8 tenths, so 53.223. That was a good lap there by Peter. So, once again on board with Shaun Clarke. Let's see if the camera away from Shaun has helped. He's done a personal best into Sector 1 at 27.625. So about a tenth shy of what Jean de Tour has done in Sector 1. Let's see how his middle sector pans out. As long as he can keep it clean this time. I believe it was 2 corners time where he ran slightly wide and that invalidated his lap. It didn't look like going too wide cost him time, but it definitely put him too wide off the track. The game did not like that and it invalidated his lap. He's now done a 32.3 in Sector 2, which is not his personal best, but it's still 2 tenths faster than Jean, so they're kind of neck and neck after the 2 sectors. Let's see how his final sector, if he can compete in the final sector. 49.703 was what Jean did. Let's see if Shaun can get around the final corner, get good drive, go wide, maybe bring it back, good exit. The camera's unfortunately changed to Rian van der Westhuizen. Well, not unfortunate for Rian, but unfortunate for us to see the completion of Shaun's lap. Did a 50.059, so a 49.998, so he did improve. Now 0.174 behind, but unfortunately not enough. It wasn't a green or a purple, it was a orange, which means it's one of his slowest or not his fastest. So his middle sector and his final sector were slow by his standards. Let's see if he can get to the pits, get out, do another lap. There's still 8 minutes left to go, so the drivers will have lots of time as we currently watch Andre Hildebrandt. Looks like JP Celia having a little bit of connection issues. He's jumping in and out. So currently we have Jean de Tour on provisional pole position from Shaun Clarke, then Richard Celia, then Jandre Duppenau, Andre Hildebrandt, Peter Murray, Javicos in 7th place, Stan Bezuidenhout in 8th place, Rian van der Westhuizen in 9th, 10th place, JP Celia, 11th place, Peter Geldernees. Now watch Andre Hildebrandt currently in 5th place. Going through the S's, getting to the final corner. There's a few sets of S's here, so I guess I could make that a bit clearer. Let's see if I can find a slightly nicer map of the track that I can perhaps bring up that is easier for me to read names of, because the other names were very, very difficult to read. Savelli is another corner that I do know. Scoperia, just sort of going through the names. Luco is probably one of the easiest ones to mention, as Peter Geldernees jumps up to 3rd place. Good lap there, but Peter only 6 tenths shy of the whole time. Jandre Duppenau now on for a good lap by the looks of things. Let's see what his times are looking like at the moment. Personal best in Sector 1, personal best in Sector 2. Let's see, can he bring it home? His fastest time so far is a 51.333. Let's see what he does now. Waiting for him to complete the lap. But I believe he's into the final corner now. Excuse my phone going off there. Forgot to mute that. Right, let's see. Oh, I had previously thought he was coming out of the final corner, but he was obviously not. Now he is. He's on the straight. Where does this put him? Right, jumps up to 4th place on a 50.7. Much better time, but only gaining 1 place. So, Rian van der Westhuizen, here comes Rian. Let's see, is Rian going to improve? Also, personal best sector 1. A slower middle sector, let's see his final time. 54.386 was his best. He does not improve, he did a 53.781 on that lap. In fact, that was an improvement, my apologies. He jumped up from 11th up to 10th place as he's now pulled over. I guess he's going to jump to pits. Alright, as we now watch Harvey goes. Harvey currently in 8th place on a 53.456. Not having a good lap this lap by the looks of things. No, this looks like a new lap. I believe this is a very bad first sector, so this lap is not going to work for him. Could be a out lap. So Harvey definitely not doing too bad in these cars at the moment, placing 8th. Currently faster than Stan Bezuidenhout, Rian van der Westhuizen and JP Cilliers. Let's see, who else can we have a look at the moment? I'm just going to get our extra feed up so that I can see. So perhaps we can look at Andre Hildebrandt, who is currently on flying lap, I believe. Currently in 6th place. Oh, he's actually not on a very good lap at the moment, so let's jump back to our other feed. And at the moment I don't see anyone on a very hot lap that I can jump to. In fact I do. I believe Shaun Clarke is on a very good lap at the moment, so let's jump to Shaun in a moment. Oh, we actually have jumped to Shaun already, so apologies for that. I was actually on the wrong camera. Alright, so perhaps we can do a dual feed at the moment, and it sounds like we have extra audio, so Julian is with us. Good evening, Julian. I'm good, you are very soft. There we go, we can hear Julian. Good evening, Julian Brains. Welcome to the commentary.
Thanks very much. Sorry I'm late. I've just been so busy with work. I actually completely forgot I was supposed to be here.
No problem. Are you going to be driving tonight or just commentating?
I'm definitely just commentating. I thought I would miss things already. Not keeping up with the schedule at all.
So 3 minutes left in qualifying.
Okay. What's been going on? Who's at the top of the pops here?
Shaun Clarke has just gone top of the pops on a 49.760. It looked like he was struggling, but his suddenly came good, and we thankfully managed to catch it all.
Okay. Fantastic. 11 guys on the grid tonight. So the usual kind of numbers we've been having for this Radical series.
Yes, quite a decent turnout. Quite a few of the guys haven't pitched up that have been driving off late, so perhaps they have load shedding or something at the moment, but we also have another feed as we're watching Stan. Let's jump to Stan's feed. So Stan has his own feed that he's feeding us tonight.
That is magical.
Which is really, really good to see this. I mean, we can see the guy's hands on the wheel, we can see his face, so we can see his in-game shots, so we know exactly what he's doing at all times. No pressure, Stan.
Look at how accurate Stan's field of view is. Look at where his speedometer is in relation to his wheel. He's mapped that thing to a science.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, he does drive triple screens, so it just wraps around him nicely.
Yeah. I actually saw an updated picture of this earlier in the week, I think, and I was quite impressed with how it was looking. So looking fantastic, Stan, I must say. Oh, unfortunate there. Catching a bit of a slide. End of qualifying now.
Yep, at
Possibly
least
that time to have some water, take a break, reset yourself, and get ready for the race.
So perhaps it's a good time to run through the current standings. As we stand, drivers can still finish it. There's just a minute and a half to go. Shaun Clarke currently in provisional pole from Jean de Toy, Peter Caldenes, Jandre Dippenaar, Richard Cilliers, Andre Hildebrandt, Peter Marais, Harvey Goes, Stan Bezuidenhout, Rian van der Westhuizen and JP Cilliers. So some good times for the drivers there. The fastest to slowest driver, there's a time difference of 5 seconds currently. So JP seems to be struggling. He's got a second between himself and Rian. Rian, I'm surprised, it's also 4 seconds off. I know he hasn't had much time to practice. He's been traveling a lot with work, so hopefully he'll get faster throughout the race. Yandre de Toy, let's see, comes across the line. I thought he might be improving, but I guess not.
Yandre was participating in like an off-road series in the Namibia Real World on the weekend. So, and he's still faithfully out on all the platforms for all the races, never misses a race. This guy's really dedicated to racecraft and racing. So hat off to him. He had an endurance race that he drove home. He drove home 200 kilometers from the race. So I mean, that just shows the commitment.
Yeah, he puts a lot of seat time in the real world and in the sim.
100%.
I should say sims, because he does it in multiple sims.
Yeah, and he actually he's become a lot more consistent in Assetto Corsa.
Surprising, because he doesn't like it. So I think just the practice of late, he's kind of getting the hang of this car.
Yeah, that's one thing about well, him and race drivers in general is that it's all about that practice, that consistency, and the guys that put in the work reap the rewards there. So it would seem. As Peter Geldenhuys puts in a purple first sector. So
right,
he's on a bit of a flyer.
Good time to do it. We're in overtime, so the drivers get to finish this lap.
Okay, so let's see if he can make any improvement on his position.
He was very wide on the exit there. Hopefully he didn't to red sector, but at the moment looking good. He's got traffic. I think it's Peter Maria. Peter moves over for him. That's good. Thank you, Peter. Let's see how his middle sector pans out. But he's certainly on it at the moment. About half a tenth up in the first sector on what Shaun was able to achieve. Not a very good middle sector.
Not a very good middle sector, so that's... Maybe he can put the last sector together.
He's about half a second off in the middle, so yeah, he might still improve, but I don't think he's going to make up time. It's certainly not like that.
Pushing a little too hard, caught a bit of slip there.
Alright, so Richard Soler, let's see, is Richard improving at the moment? He is not in his middle and first sector. So unless those are only a fraction off, he's abandoned the lap. Alright, jumping to Peter Maria. Now I believe Peter is on a slow lap because he did move over for Peter Geldenhuys. I believe he's the only driver that is still on track. So we are going to jump to a quick ad break and then we'll be back shortly for race 1.
Fantastic.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We are back live
In
for
Italy.
race 1 in Italy from Mugello for round 7 of the 2023 Alwin Radical Cup. You, of course, are watching Sim Experience SA, and you're joined by myself, Dennis Mitchell, and Julian Brains. Good evening, Julian. Welcome to race 1.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. And yeah, should be some nice racing on the twisty circuit of Mugello this evening.
Yes, this is round 7 Mugello, and we'll be following this up with round 8 next week from Zwartkops. But let's jump back to the live feed.
Because the lights are about to go red.
Alright, as we get ready to go.
Peter Murray. See what kind of start he gets. Ooh. It's not a very good angle to watch the start of the race from, but it is an angle nonetheless as they're off. Everybody, well, is it Mugello that's getting a very good start? Is he in the correct
No,
livery
Wolver's not here tonight. As we can, let's jump to
Ooh, some spinning, some locking
all sorts
up,
of incidents
some
there.
spinning and some incidents.
And there we see-
Down to the bottom.
We see how that
back.
benefits JP. Now, of course, the drivers in the back always get the benefit of a bad start like that.
So yeah, Richard Selier's benefited initially from that, and he's currently running P1 with Peter Galdenes following.
And Rian van der
Closely
Westhuizen
behind.
also getting a good start there up to 4th place.
Fantastic.
Jumping
So
both
now-
Stamp Zaidnout and Harvey Goos.
I must say it's going to be quite interesting to watch Jean-Jay Detoy and Shaun Olivier fight their way from the back, because we know they're very capable of catching some of the guys in the front of the field, while catching up with most of the guys in the front of the field.
And Peter Murray currently in 3rd place. I think that's the highest he's been so far in a race 1. I think in race 2 he's been up in the front once or twice.
Fantastic.
This is a great showing so far. I mean, obviously the start incident helped, but yeah, doing great at the moment.
And nice and tightly bunched up the pack is this evening as a result of that first corner incident. It's unfortunate for some, but obviously it's going to make a little bit more entertaining race for us as we follow now JP Selier's in the purple livery, looking like he's getting caught there quite quickly by
Andre Hildebrand, that's right,
Andre
yeah.
Hildebrand, surprisingly. Wow. Andre seeming to be on top form. Andre followed closely by
there goes-
Shaun Olivier, and there JP Selier succumbs to the pressure and ran a little bit wide. Falls to the back of the pack now. Unfortunate for him.
And speaking of catching, we have Piet Geldenes in 2nd place. I think he is now starting to catch Richard Selier. There's a second between them. Ooh, definitely catching there on the breakdown to 8-10, 7-10, so
Very nice in the brakes, yeah.
a nice entry there into turn 1.
It's all about carrying speed on this track and then getting the lines just perfect so that you can, it's a flat foot, please, that little sequence there, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's not. Turn 1, I think you take in 3rd gear, then you can take turn 1 is standard auto, turn 2 Luco, you can take also in 3rd.
Shaun Olivier, our current leader and champion of the series, has had an unfortunate incident at the back. We've just missed it. But he got, I think he must have been trying to make an overtake and it just didn't go his way for whatever reason. Oh, as we see another major spin-off there by...
Rian van der Westhuizen.
Unlucky there for Gian. Quite a messy little spin that was. Luckily nobody else was affected. As we follow Andre Hildebrand, who's still hot on the heels now of Javi Goos actually. So he's passed, obviously Selier's fell off earlier and he's caught up to Javi.
Harvey currently in 6th place at the moment, so that's a good showing by Harvey tonight. I'm not sure where Dani Stunder is tonight, but usually they would drive together, but no Dani tonight. But Harvey certainly flying the flag very well for the team GDR Racing.
Yeah.
Andre, of course, is all over him and runs slightly wide there, obviously looking for a way past. Maybe carried a bit too much speed.
And there was another incident there, if I'm not mistaken, Jean-Jay Detoy and Andre Hildebrand, and both of them pummeling back down. Angles are a little Monaco here this evening.
Yeah, unfortunately the angles, I am trying to do it manually on the one and it's kind of just playing up a little bit. We have Rian van der Westhuizen currently behind Shaun Olivier.
Netco popping up there, guys jumping around a little bit. know, so Shaun must have caught a little damage because unless Zian is just on top form, but then had an unfortunate incident earlier because Shaun, we all know, is very, very quick. The pole sitter, as it were.
Yes, and our championship leader. In fact, I think he's our champion. I don't believe he can be caught. I stand corrected, but well, maybe he can if he has a really shocking end to the season. I should actually do the math.
I've just got a little something I need to tend to here, guys. Just excuse me for 2 minutes.
No problem. Alright, we can also have a look at some of the other feeds at the moment. So we're currently watching Peter Murray on screen. Let me see if I can find... So Shaun is pulling away from Rian van der Westhuizen at the moment. Let's have a look at... Gap at the moment at the front is pretty stable as well, but roughly 8/10. So not much happening there as I was expecting it would. As I'm looking through the field trying to find the action, there's not that much happening at the moment. So Yonder Dippen are about 5 seconds back at the moment, I believe, from second place Peter Geldenhuys, that is. Sorry, about 6 seconds back. I'm just going to see if there's anyone that we can see. So Peter Geldenhuys, I believe, is the only driver that is currently close to anyone. So perhaps we can jump to that view. Or perhaps we can show both, since our main camera has decided to show that. That is nice to see both angles there. The camera showing the Shaun Clarke battle in the bottom left. And we're watching Peter Geldenhuys in the top right. So Peter in second, challenging for the lead at the moment from Richard Cillier. Shaun Clarke has now got past JP Cillier in the bottom left corner. Bottom left camera, I should say. His next target is Zwartkops. Let's see.
It's going to be quite interesting to watch Shaun. Sorry guys, I'm back just to let you know. But it's going to be interesting to watch Shaun climb his way back up because he seems to be not too damaged.
And Yonder Dippen just did the fastest first sector, and then he was straight away beaten by Shaun Clarke. So about half a tenth between them in the first sector. So Yonder is starting to find pace. Of course, that's something Yonder does tend to get faster in the race.
Yeah, he's currently now Shaun Clarke already has the fastest lap of the race.
So Peter Geldenhuys all over the back of Richard at the moment. Sorry, Peter Geldenhuys, yes. So getting my Peters mixed up. And we have Shaun Clarke catching up to Zwartkops. In fact, he's got past Zwartkops as we see that now. So he will now have his eyes set on Andre Hildebrand, I believe. No, Stan Bezuidenhout. And speaking of Stan Bezuidenhout, we can go to Stan's feed for a bit and just show you what Stan is up to. We did show it in qualifying, but now we see it in the race. So Stan will be checking his mirrors. In his right mirror we can see there is Shaun Clarke coming for him. Only mirror we can see. Here he comes. As he changes his feed.
So are we actually, how are we getting Stan's feed? Is he kicking us his full feed?
He's sending us his full feed. So as we get it, that's how we're showing it to you guys. As we see Shaun Clarke coming past now.
I like his stats in the corner here. It doesn't make a lot of sense to see a static car. Using quite a bit of real estate for that, but Stan's got his advertising on point.
So nice to see this kind of feed from our drivers.
Nice webcams he's making use of there to send us the video. So nice cost-effective way of actually streaming, and the picture doesn't seem to be too bad. I'm sure it could even be better if we I don't know, I think I'm maybe just seeing it a slight like a Discord version, like yes, I see everything, yeah. I forget that, but yeah, it looks quite nice.
Alright, as we see, Zwartkops is now down to 7th place, having been passed by Shaun Clarke. So the driver in front of him at the moment is Stan Bezuidenhout. So Harvey has Stan in his sights. So Stan is going backwards after his gain at the start. So will he be able to hold off Zwartkops? As we see Peter Geldenhuys seems to be yo-yoing a little bit with Richard. He was catching quite a lot, and then I think when he gets too close and he struggles and moves back, I'm not sure if there was a move that we missed that went awry, but gap once again a second. So it seems to have been a second, then it comes down to half a second, and then it goes back up as we see Richard do a 52.3 and Peter only a 53.3, so over a second slower on that lap. So definitely was something that slowed him down. And a 51.4 for Yandre Dippenaar. We just set a purple final sector, and Shaun Clarke has just set a purple first and second sector.
Yeah. Well, Shaun Clarke now into the 150s, so he's just broken the first 150s that we've seen. So he's definitely on pace. Damage doesn't seem to be affecting him too much, if there is any.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find Richard's camera, and we can look back from Richard and just have a... Perhaps we can do a picture-in-picture view, a multi-view.
Dennis, we're going through some of the corner names, and I'm going to see if I can explain where these guys are now. Who we're watching John De
And our onboard feed is with Richard Cillier. Looking back at Peter Haldenes.
Whichever corner they're on now, because these names are quite a mouthful.
Perhaps we could change to a forward-facing camera.
That's nice. That's a nice little view we're getting there from behind, and the Zap following. With Peter and
okay, he's coming into the final turn now.
The final turn would be
Lucini,
turn 15. What a nice turn. I quite enjoy that one.
very, very long straight they go down. As I was just telling Julian in the break, the MotoGP bikes get about 330 along here. And in fact, Julian O'Connor, his rear tyre blow when they were doing tyre testing just as he crossed the line where they are now. He slid very far on his bum. Going into turn 1, which is San Donato, and I'll let you take over from here, Julian.
So turn 1 is then it's Luca, turn 2. Turn 3 is Poggio Secco. Is this turn 3 that they're in now?
And a move there by Peter. Yes, turn 3.
They came through Poggio Secco side by side as they make their way to turn 4, the Maserati turn. This is the Maserati turn, and then Borga San Lorenzo, turn number 5. And now the favorite turn of everybody, all the guys, the Casanova. Okay, we're not with them anymore, we've gone back to Maserati.
And then Savelli next, that's one I know quite well.
Oh, Savelli. That time in Savelli, turn number 7.
And then it's Arrabbiata 1, which is my favorite turn on the track. And then you get Arrabbiata 2. Now Arrabbiata 1 is a nice dip in the middle that you can just feel the wheel load up and everything, which is brilliant.
Yeah, and if you place it just correctly, you catch a lot of speed through there.
And here comes
carry a
Peter.
lot of speed, should I say.
Peter trying around the outside. Is he going to make it? Or he's going the wide line, but he might be able to cut. Oh, he's gone off. Too wide.
Chasing a little too hard. Giving Richard a chance to pull away a bit there.
Alright, well I guess that's fight for first place now gone, but that means Yandre Dippenaar is now only 1.4 seconds off the win. With almost 7 minutes to go, so he could be catching. It's 1.3, the gap is catching, so is closing, I should say. We'll keep an eye on that. So I'm going to get that ready for when he gets there. In fact, let's have a quick look back at Yandre from Richard's point of view. So we're looking over the wing of Richard's car, and that is Yandre Dippenaar, who was involved in the first lap incident, and he's managed to work his way back up to second. So what a great drive.
Very good drive.
Even Shaun Clarke, also having all his problems, was down at the back, is now up to 4th, so also coming forward slowly. So the field being shuffled quite a lot. And let's see how this ends. 1.2 seconds covering first and second at the moment. 1.1 seconds, so he's catching fast, under a second there. This is going to be a battle very, very shortly. Unfortunately, Yandre Dippenaar, who was looking odds-on for a win here with his times in qualifying, has not had a good start. He was involved with the start incident there. And he's currently in 6th place, which means he's going to be in, I think, 5th place for the start of race 2. As you see, Yonder, oh, a little bit twitchy there by Yonder, trying hard on the brakes, the car getting a little bit loose.
How many minutes to these guys? Let's check that quickly.
5.5 minutes to go.
5.5 minutes to go, yeah.
Then they finish the lap they're on, plus 1 lap.
So there's plenty of time. I think John Grace realizes that, but he's probably just being patient.
Yep, 3 tenths behind them, 2 tenths behind. I mean, he's going to be passed within this lap and possibly the next. I think the next is going to turn, the final turn now, which is Bussini.
Bussini.
Here he
John
comes.
Grace definitely on form with all these driving he's been doing of late. So kudos to him for coming back from the back of the pack like that. And as we know, these guys are probably in the same voice chat. They are teammates. And I know for a fact that they don't really have team orders, but they will definitely make each other aware and always announce when they like up on the inside. I'm sure that pass was going to be quite clean there from him.
Yeah, unfortunately the camera decided to change. I went to the auto cam on the one PC thinking it would follow it, and obviously as you got past it decided to look away. Apologies for that.
I was privileged enough to be behind the scenes at the E-Prix on the weekend, Dennis, and I even took some little video snippets of their production facility, that the amount of work and the amount of people that goes into bringing you a flawless production of a race. And then I think of me and you sitting here behind a few piece computers and
very,
trying
very
to do
different.
exactly the same thing. Luckily, we don't have real world cars, and we've got a lot of digital cameras that are available to us. But yeah, how things change with technology. Who knows what the future looks like?
Exactly.
Things
Yes.
like this. Who could have imagined?
Let's have a look again at Stansfield. He's changed so we can see his wheel a bit clearer now. You were saying how he's got his scaling just right in the car looks the right size. Now we can see it clearer from the way he's changed it now.
It looks like he needs to sit a little bit more to the right in the car, but he's probably quite okay with that. As you can see, it's not quite centered. Those are the little details that really...
Well, the camera is probably just over his shoulder, being able to see that way, because we can see it in the other feed. It looks at his face. We can see that it's off to his left.
Oh,
So-
I see. The lens is actually compressing it. I see.
Yeah, so it's giving us that view, that angle.
But fantastic. Really good work here from Stan. Side note.
And Stan, of course, driving with the direct drive wheel. For those that don't know, you get much better feedback through direct drive. There's no other cogs and gears and bolts and things in the way, so your wheel is literally bolted directly onto the motor shaft, so you get the most accurate force feedback.
And that is a very, very sexy looking rim that he's got on there on that Moser. I think
It
it's an
is.
R9 that he's sporting. If I'm not
I
mistaken.
believe so. It's the R9. I think that's the GS wheel.
Beautiful setup.
I stand corrected.
You would struggle to find better force feedback out there. Better bang for your buck at least. As he still has time to change feeds on the straight, change layouts on the straight. What a gent.
There in the top left we can see the picture of him with the other camera looking over his shoulder, giving us the feed of the wheel.
Quality stuff.
Now, great stuff how he's changing his feeds while he's driving.
I'm certain he's got a Steam Deck or something to the effect nearby, or he's mapped a few keys. But I'm certain, if I know Stan, he's got a Steam Deck.
He was
He's
actually
certainly not shy of having all the other kit.
He was giving me some advice and saying how you could use a keyboard to create a Steam Deck, and that's what he recommends. So I believe he's using a keyboard with shortcuts that he's modified into a Steam Deck of sorts.
Yeah.
It's certainly working for him.
Yeah, no, it's looking fantastic, I must say.
And that's something that we should perhaps try at some time, is having a deck that just makes it easier to transition between things, because at the moment I don't do that. I use the mouse to transition between things and click on things and everything.
It does make it a little bit more difficult. I wonder if Stan's talking to his audience while he's streaming, or is he streaming exclusively for us?
I'm thinking that he is streaming to his YouTube channel at the moment as well, because I think that's the feed that he's splitting and sending it to us and sending it to YouTube. But I stand corrected. As far as I know, that's what he had planned to do. Whether it is working tonight, I'm not sure.
Javi Gozer slipped down to P8. He was in P7 earlier, so Stan has taken that position from him. But Not having a bad race. And is everybody in the correct liveries again tonight, Dennis?
No, unfortunately that's because we have drivers that aren't part of the championship that have joined, and it shuffles the skins a bit.
Okay. Yeah. So this weekend was definitely a big weekend for motorsport in South Africa. Lots of racing all over the show.
Yes, tell us about it.
Our race leader, Jean-Jay Dutoy, was in a car of his own, as we mentioned earlier. I was at the Formula E. There was the 9 hours of Kyalami, if I'm not mistaken.
So Jean-Jay Dutoy, what was he driving?
No, Jean-Jay Dipeno, sorry, my bad.
Yes,
I
yes.
get confused. Jean-Jay's or Jean-Jay's, and I tell you a small secret, my wife's name is actually Jean-Jay.
Does she drive?
She does not drive, no. Most people think she's an Afrikaans man, yes.
As we now see, the time is now run out, so the drivers will finish this lap and one more lap. As we see Peter Geldernes making his way forward again, challenging for second place. All over Richard.
Having a good little battle, these two, a little competition with each other, very similarly paced.
Of course, this was the battle for the lead a few laps ago, and this is now the battle for second because of the incidents they've had as he now does make his way past.
Along the side, and it looks like he's
still there, he's still there.
along the side, falling back a little bit, and lovely team racing side by side as they come through. Where exactly are these two?
On the main straight.
On the main straight now, so
Coming
they
into San Donato.
Busini. It was Channel Italian in Italy.
Into San Donato. Around the outside. Nicely done, nice and clean. Gets it done this time.
Beautifully done, Peter. So
Can he catch for the win? This is the final lap.
He seems to be falling back a little already, so it doesn't look like PZN are going to be challenging for 1 and 2. He runs a little wider than Peter. It was a nice view, that top down. Such a joy.
I want to see if we can maybe find him and see if he can catch Jean-Jay Dipeno. It's going to be very close.
What I found so fascinating about the EP being in town is when watching the helicopters that were circling above. And because, you know, when you're at these sort of live event races and something of that scale, obviously they've got huge screens where they're displaying the live action. And some of the crucial moments that they manage to catch from the helicopter cam in the EP, it's like they know just where to be when, and they're just constantly circling and landing and taking off again. And just getting those fantastic angles from all over the circuit, and I found that must be a logistical nightmare of note, but somehow they make it look so easy.
Yeah, I guess when you get the right equipment and the skilled personnel, it becomes easier, but it's just amazing. When we do what we do, we realize just how amazing their productions are.
Yes. Yeah, there's nothing that they're missing. I mean, I'm sure they've got spotters on each car to make sure that nobody's missing anything of value. But that's one thing also that I noticed and I enjoyed is, this is the final lap.
This is the final lap.
Jean-Jay's crossing the line to do the final lap.
Although I'm not too sure if I think they've finished it. I think it's just the game getting itself confused. Because the times have stopped.
Flag, that's the final lap. And they are stopping.
Yeah, it is definitely over because the times are disappearing. So, Jean-Jay Dipeno taking race 1 victory from Peter Geldernes, from Richard Cilliers, from Shaun Clarke, Jean-Jay Dutoy, Peter Murray coming across the line now.
And there should be Stan Besaiden out and Javi Goes to follow.
Yes.
Shortly after. Well done to Javi.
Good race from Javi. And JP Cilliers, and then we will have Richard Rian van der Westhuizen, and his Jack Daniels color scheme will be next. Hopefully he's not drinking and driving. And the final driver will be Andre Hildebrandt. Alright, so we're going to jump to an ad break. We'll be back shortly for race 2. Alright, welcome back everyone. Welcome back to race 2 of the 2023 Alwin Radical Cup, coming to you live from Mugello in Tuscany, Italy. I'm Dennis Mitchell, your commentator, and I'm joined once again by Julian Brains. Good evening again, Julian.
Well, good evening, good evening. If you ever wondered where they get that Tuscan style from, this is where it's at, guys.
Of course, this is round 7 from Mugello, and round 8 will be the final round from Zwartkops here in South Africa. And that will be it. As we now watch the drivers, we're waiting for them.
Hopefully we get a better view of the start this time as we watch the reverse grid now take off, and Gian van der Westhuizen's in pole.
Yes, so let's see, maybe I can...
Oh, there we go, and Gian seems to get a nice start. JP Soleil's running P2 there. As usual with the reverse grid start, there is generally quite a lot of catching done in the first few corners, and the field seems to be bunched up quite nicely as they make their way through. Sandonato, sorry. You guys should know by now that I'm a little dyslexic.
I know some of the corner names from MotoGP mostly. Sandonato is one I know pretty well. It's stuck in my head. Rian being passed for the lead, currently in second place.
By Jean de Toy.
Now coming under threat by Peter Murray by the looks of it. Alright, so all to play for at the moment.
From the back of the Jack Daniels livery, watching Peter Murray. As Gian uses the full tap here.
A bit too much there.
And then even a little bit too much as Peter Murray gets the jump on him.
Alright, so that's Rian down to third now. But Peter Murray up to second. That's a good showing by Peter at the moment. And Jean de Toya, who has been one of the faster drivers, currently in the lead. Harvey Coast now up to third, getting past Rian van der Westhuizen. Not sure why the camera isn't following it. The camera is meant to follow the action automatically, but it seems to be taking a bit of a breather tonight. Rian van der Westhuizen currently in 4th place. 3rd place.
Rian looked like he was actually making a move on Peter there, and he did.
He did, up to second.
Successfully so. As we follow JP Soleil's, there's a bit of three-way passing going on. Still nicely bunched up. Lovely racing tonight. Lovely to see the guys so in touch. It's all the nice windy corners of Mugello. As Jean de Toy puts in 2 purple sectors, so he's running nice and good up front there, finding a bit of space, having a good race, I'm sure, as Shaun Clarke picks up position.
Coming up to the back of Rian van der Westhuizen now.
So he picked up that position from Stan. Ooh, and somebody runs a little wide. That's Rian van der Westhuizen running a little wide as
Shaun snuck past it as a result, but he's got Stan Bezadner right behind him at the moment. Perhaps we can jump to Stan's point of view. This is Stan seeing all the action. That's Rian van der Westhuizen in front of him.
Stan clearly enjoying that new Moser wheel. Finding a bit of pace with it, I'm sure. Still getting used to all those forces. I'm sure it can't be easy. As he makes a beautiful line and run up on Gian. And carries more pace than him but can't find a way past.
Here he comes. Heavy contact.
Contact, unfortunately, Gian lands a little wide. I'm sure that will make its way to the steward's office. Ooh, unlucky as...
Stan looks like he's slowing down to let someone pass, but I don't know if he knows that that's not the right driver.
That's Peter Murray. Not so? Or Peter Galdenes?
Peter Galdenes, yes, sorry. So I believe Rian van der Westhuizen is still behind, but he's... okay, he has caught up slightly, so he is now quite close behind them. About half a second. Now it's about a second. Sorry, 2 seconds back. Alright, so perhaps we can... Sorry, I'm not realizing we're still on the stands feed. Let's jump back to the main race feed. Nice battle going on here under Hildebrandt. defending nicely. I believe that was from Harvey Coast there. Andre Dippenaar in the mix now. Going around the outside of Harvey. Harvey defending heavy there.
Harvey doing some nice defending, keeping Andre behind him as the PZN cars bunch up.
Let's see if I can find Harvey's camera and we can go on board with Harvey.
Andre goes for the move on Harvey, and Richard tries to follow closely by it to sneak past two, and he does. Harvey's luckily slipping down into 10th place.
Oh, and he's just gone off out of camera. I've just seen it on the other feed. Alright, so Harvey unfortunately ruining his own race there, making a small error. Oh, and sliding off. He's going to hit the barrier. Just stops in time. Alright, so Andre Dippenaar now in 8th place. Are we going to see Andre working his way back up to the front again? I think it's going to be a lot more difficult now. He's going to have all the fast guys that he's going to pass. But he certainly does have the pace. Trying to do all over the back of Andre Hildebrandt.
So we have Jean-Jacques de Toy running from Shaun Clarke, followed by 3rd place Peter Mugello, which is, as you stated earlier, he's, well, this is the second race, I suppose, which is a reverse gear. So he's hanging on to his 3rd place there for now. And then Peter Galdenes, which is not too far behind, as we come through 3 wide under Hildebrandt.
That is close. That's very van der Westhuizen, yes.
And just ahead of them would be
Andre Dippenaar now.
Andre Dippenaar. So yeah, just trying to figure out who's who here.
And then right behind Rian van der Westhuizen, we have Richard Cillier there.
So Richard got 2 guys now caught between him and Andre, because he managed to slip through with him earlier.
So Peter Galdenes is currently in 4th place. 9 seconds back though. I think we need to keep track of lap times as well, because Jean-Jacques de Toy is certainly a quick driver. Fastest time currently of a 50.830, which I believe is the fastest lap of the race. It is, and it is by almost half a second from what I can see.
Shaun Clarke's best time being a 51.35, but I'm sure that'll improve now that he's in a bit of space. As we watch Peter Galdenes making a move here on Peter Mugello, the Peters are going at it.
Yes, the 2 orange cars, the 2 Peters, both choosing the same color cars.
Yeah,
not making it easy for us.
Not making it easy for us at all.
Peter in the orange car, challenging Peter in the other orange car.
Peter Galdenes seems to beat old Mugello there on the brakes. And Peter Mugello knows that Peter Galdenes is...
So Mugello's got a good slipstream here. Let's see how it's going. Of course the camera decides to change. Peter Galdenes, I believe, is behind Peter Mugello at the moment. If the camera decides to allow me, I will show it. And that's looking back from Peter Mugello. That is Peter Galdenes right behind. At least we can follow it from this view. So a good battle going there. That is of course the battle for the final podium position. So Jean-Jacques de Toy is still 5 seconds ahead of Shaun Clarke. Shaun Clarke just set the fastest first sector of a 27.803. And Shaun is starting to warm up. And you see this battle between the 2 Peters going on and on and on, which is brilliant for us. We have Andre Dippenaar behind the scenes getting past Stan Bezuidenhout, so currently up to 5th place. About 15 seconds back, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm not too sure how far he will get up the field. 3-second gap roughly between himself and the 2 Peters. Oh, looks like Peter Galdenes has just gone off.
Come off the track, unfortunately, and Peter Mugello comes off the better of the 2 Peters there.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess that's the end of that battle. So we will now have to see what is the next battle that we can watch. Maybe Peter Murray will be under threat soon from Yonder Dippenaar, which he is. Yonder is catching him at quite a rate. So Yonder, by the looks of things, is going to be up into P3 as we see Shaun Clarke now just does a 150.874, which is now the fastest. No, sorry, it's not. It's almost the fastest lap of the race. Second fastest lap of the race.
Who's got the fastest lap? Is that Shaun Clarke?
No, Jean-de Dutoy on a 150.830.
Okay, this. I mean, what is that? How do you measure that last little fuck? That last.
It's like a hair width or something like that.
Yeah, that's very, very close. So these guys are definitely all within the range as we follow Peter Murray with Jean-de Dutoy hot on his tail.
Here comes Yonder looming there.
I think these guys also might be sitting in the same voice. And
I believe so. But I'm sure this is pretty ominous for Peter at the moment. Yonder right there catching it quite a rate.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be defending too hard, but I think he just wants him to get past clean and he wants to stick to his own race. Because you know, the more you defend and fight, the faster guys from further back come and catch up.
And there he comes. I believe that Yonder is now past.
Yeah, really nice, cleanly side by side. Those guys went. Good communication, good racing.
Yep, that's it.
Good patience as well. So a lot of beginners, some races get very wrong. They go for it immediately. They all think they're Max Verstappen. You know, Max likes to go for those early lunges.
Yeah, not early lunches, but early lunges.
Yes, early lunges. That's what I said, bro.
No, I'm just correcting for those that might have misheard it.
Oh, yeah.
In racing, we have lunges.
I hear Max likes early lunches as well.
I don't mind an early lunch either.
Yeah,
breakfast.
I had a bit of a brunch this morning.
Lunch.
I did a bit of a brunch this morning. As the guys are nicely in touch with each other here. Nice few little packs, a few little battles developing. Peter Galden is catching up now to JP Celliers and Richard and Rian van der Westhuizen. As they come three ways,
Nice.
Oh, I don't even know the words I was looking for there now.
He's side by side.
Side by side. As they're going to go 3 cars wide. Almost. 2 cars at least. Rian van der Westhuizen and JP Celliers. As, somebody catches a bit of a slide there, and that's under Hildebrand, unfortunate for him. And we follow with Rian van der Westhuizen. Chasing now, Peter Galden is trying to stay in touch as Peter makes another pass because of Andre's slip off. Andre rejoining just in front of Rian van der Westhuizen now. And maybe with that loss of momentum, Rian can take the opportunity to catch up as he catches a beautiful line. Oh, can he hold on to that? Lovely stuff.
Nice driving there.
Very nice driving from all 3 guys. Unfortunate for the spin there with Andre Hildebrand. But I'm sure he will value and enjoy the battle that he's going to about to ensue with Rian van der Westhuizen. Because you know, Rian can be quite a handful in these cars if he wants to be.
Yeah, it's good to see he's showing his pace again. Didn't seem to have it in race 1, but he's obviously getting more and more familiar.
As you caught a rare moment there of presenter silences. Both just had a thought and were thinking about things. As we follow now, following Andre Hildebrand again as he trying to stay in touch with Peter, and he seems to have lost touch with Rian van der Westhuizen, so not much of a battle ensuing there. As he comes up side by side with that Stan Besaidenout that we're with now.
It is indeed.
And who's he side by side with there?
We're on board with Stan Besaidenout now. I believe that is Richard Cellier. It's one of the PZN.
Richard Cellier. Look at Stan. Oh, and unfortunately losing a little bit of touch there on the Moser. We should have been on board with Stan for that unfortunate
we were, but it wasn't his own feed, yeah.
Unfortunate. No, I meant but it'd be nice to have seen his feed there. But we understand. Yeah, still smiling. What a gentle Stan is. Enjoyed that little battle, and ultimately that's why we're all here. Have a bit of fun. We enjoy racing cars online, and we go a little overboard with the accessories that we use. and controllers will do.
Overboard is the way we want it though, because we want it as real as possible. Because we can't
That is
afford the real
correct.
thing, so we go for the fake thing instead that's as real as possible.
Well, the thing is, we're environmentally conscious, Dennis. You know, we understand that burning rubber is not the most sustainable thing in the world, and possibly the digital alternatives, and they're getting closer and closer by the day.
I don't know, I enjoy the smell of burning rubber. There's something about it being a racetrack that those are the things.
It definitely is nice, but even as the guys allude to in the Formula E as we go in the weekend, one of the first things guys say when you interview them behind the scenes is, you know, now it's just back to the simulator, back to some tracks, and then we'll take on the next race. You know, it's on to the next race, and back to the simulator is the first thing that I hear. That perks my ears up, and you know, suddenly I wish I was the presenter and asking, "Ooh, Stan Besaiden not catching now with Rian van der Westhuizen
Yes.
again." And it should be a good battle ensuing here. Ooh. Coming up on the inside and giving him just enough space there, and they make contact. Unfortunately, I don't know how that happened. They looked like they were giving each other enough space. Very unfortunate. And I don't know if Rian managed to stay intact there. It looks like he did. He managed to stay on track. And Stan unfortunately losing a few spots there. Stan's actually a crash investigator by profession, so he should analyze that to its nth degree when he watches the replays
Yeah.
in a bit of spare time.
Well, that's
maybe you can give
not
us
a race inspector, more of a real world
No,
road
but I
inspector.
mean, I'm sure it can translate. It's got a lot of angles he can pick from here in Assetto Corsa on the replay to make his case.
Well, back to your esports thing, one of the things I think a lot of people, well, most motorsport enthusiasts love the sound of racing and the smell of racing. I certainly do love both, but it is very different, the sounds you get from a Formula E. A lot of people think there's no sound, but there is still a sound, it's just a different sound.
There's quite a lot of sound. It sounds like a jet, you know.
Yeah.
It sounds more like an aircraft. What I enjoy about not hearing so much engine, because you must look at the bright side, is that you hear
the
so much
tires.
more of what the tires are doing.
You can hear them squealing away, yeah.
And the other thing that gives it for me a very good appeal is the fact that they are on street tires, because they're racing on street circuits. So it's a lot closer to what we do every day in our cars than Formula One is, you know. And I think it's also very closely matched and makes for really good racing and good strategy and everything. And there's something pure about it. So I must say, having attended it and actually having used Art Factor, who owns the official license to the Formula E and EP. I've driven a few of the cars, and I've got a new appreciation for it as we watch Richard Sellers now making his way and making a run up on the inside of Peter Marais. Is that Peter Marais or Galdenes? It's Peter Marais,
yes.
and it looks like he's going to beat him on the brakes coming into turn one, and he's actually ahead of him well before that. Peter's looking to... He must have caught a much better run out of that corner and anticipated that he was going to have that run, and really well done there to him to move up into third place, the final podium. Peter's still staying in touch a little bit, and unfortunate for him to not catch that podium today.
Yeah, and we see now Peter Marais watching as the car in front of Richard just slowly pulling away. Quite a lot actually, he's already up to almost a second ahead now, within a space of what, 3 or 4 corners.
Yeah, so he was moving at quite a good pace.
Went a bit deep there.
But often when someone faster than you comes by you, it actually helps your lines a little bit, and you can stay in touch a little bit, sort of mimicking their line.
I've also just noticed that Yandre Dupinard has a DNF. I didn't notice when it happened. Sorry for not noticing that sooner, but yeah, Yandre was running up in 3rd place for a long time. Or 4th place, sorry, for a long time. Unfortunately, we've lost him.
They don't get load shedding in Namibia, so we can rule that out.
Yes, unless he's forgot to pay his electricity for the night. Harvey Koos has got past Stan Besaiden now. I'm not sure if that's because Stan has made a mistake.
DNF as well.
He does.
Unfortunate.
And Stan's feed has gone blank, so I'm not sure if Stan has been caught out by...
Stan might have been caught out by the load shedding bugs.
Now, Stan does have a battery backup system that he's running off an inverter, But perhaps by having all these cameras and that, he's maybe used too much of his juice.
Actually upgraded another battery to my system today, and I see, because it's a 4-hour stint for us now, I see that I'm already halfway through my battery, so my new setup, so concerning.
Yes.
As Rian van der Westhuizen sets a personal best time. So he's also finding his flow here later in the race.
And currently in 7th place, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have Rian's feed. Now, Rian does sometimes share his feed as well. The only feed I had was from Stan, which is now gone.
As the Peters are once again in touch with each other, is that correct?
That is correct. The two orange cars once again staring at each other.
Peter Galdenes behind Peter Marais, as we saw before, and he managed to get through. Can he do it again? There's only 11 seconds left of this race, and he seems to be running very good lines.
Well, it's 11 seconds plus they finished this lap and one more.
Yes. Yeah, so basically they've got a lap, one more lap after this.
Yes.
As he just decides to back off there. Making a move at the right time here is essential. Otherwise you could just destroy the race. You and the guy that you're trying to pass.
Yeah. Good side by side there.
Very patient from Peter. He knows his one lap. He thinks he's likely to get it as he comes up on the inside and makes the move on the inside. Beats him on the brakes. Beautifully done. Textbook move. Peter, unfortunately, Marais that is, giving up 4th place to take 5th by the looks of things. Andre Hildebrand like 40 odd seconds behind him, so there's no chance that they will catch unless there's some accidents. As he catches a bit of slip down the straight.
He seems to help, but not enough. That fall back. Well, mind you, he's not doing too bad into turn 1, slightly tighter line.
He's done well to stay in touch there. All you can really hope now is that the guy makes a small mistake and we can just keep him honest enough to capitalize on it. So do your best to stay as close to him as possible. So that if any mistake is made, then you can capitalize on it. Essentially, is what I was saying. Is now putting in the purple 1st sector, so he's flying along nearly in his zone.
And Shaun Clarke has just done the purple 2nd sector. So the times are fastest lap of a 150.830 still, but last lap Jean de Toy did a 50.975, so his consistency is there. Shaun Clarke a 50.724. Well, that's actually the fastest lap of the race. No, it's not. A 50.607 is the fastest lap of the race. So Shaun Clarke is the fastest driver out there at the moment, but he's just 3 seconds back, and that's just too much to catch. And I believe the drivers are now coming across the line to finish. So that is Jean de Toy taking the win from Shaun Clarke.
Followed by Richard Cilliers and
Coming
Peter Galdenes.
into the final turn here for Richard. So Peter Galdenes right behind him.
Everything stays as it is.
I think Peter's a bit too far back, so yeah, Peter will finish in 4th place, and Peter Marais will finish in 5th place.
Well done to Peter Marais. It's a good race from him, and some good racing tonight from the guys. Some good battles all over the field.
Yeah, well done
Very
tonight,
entertaining
guys.
to watch. Yeah. I feel my commentary even got better. I don't know. Maybe it's because I went to the E-Prix on the weekend.
Andre Hildebrand coming across the line in 6th place. That shows 4th in the bottom right. That's because drivers have been leaving the server as they finish. Rian van der Westhuizen in 7th place. JP Cilliers in 8th place. And then Harvey Goos will be the final driver to finish in 9th place. Then we'll jump to a ad break and come back with the top 3 drivers for the race. So we'll be back with you shortly. Alright, welcome back everyone. We are now joined live. This is the end of round 7. We are joined for interviews. This, of course, is the end of round 7's 2023 Alwin Radical Cup from Mugello in Tuscany, Italy. We, of course, are joined by our top 3 drivers tonight, which are in first place overall, Jean de Tour, in second place overall, Shaun Clarke, and in third place overall, Pieter Geldenhuys. So perhaps we can start with Jean de. Jean de, a fantastic drive tonight. You sounded very surprised by your results. You did seem to have a lot of incidents in race 1, but you managed to still get a solid enough points haul there, and with, of course, your solid race 2 result, you've managed to come across first overall for the evening. So congratulations, and any thoughts from your side?
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Yeah, I was a bit surprised. Race 1, I screwed my and Shaun's race up, so apologies to him for the first turn. But then, yeah, I waited for him. Then both of us had to fight back. We had a couple of incidents with other people as well. So, yeah, we had to fight back race 2 to get top 5, I think. I think I was 5th, he was 4th. And race 2, yeah, luckily from the start I got a clean break, and by the first turn I was in first. So then I could just keep my pace and make sure Shaun couldn't catch me.
And speaking of pace, the pace between yourself and Shaun was pretty much almost identical. I think there was probably 200ths between you guys or something like that. So extremely good pace between the two of you, and the gap seemed to come down to about 3 seconds and then just stay there. So you did just enough hold of Shaun. So fantastic race 2 there, and obviously a fantastic result overall for the meeting.
Thank you.
And then of course Shaun, you of course have been the pace setter for most of the series, and of course tonight you were once again setting an amazing pace. Unfortunately, some of the guys, some incidents happening, and you didn't quite get through it as clean as you would like, and as a result only second tonight, but still a fantastic drive, some great racing. We caught some epic passes and some good side-by-side racing tonight. So yeah, any feedback from your side?
No, it was a difficult race. I think if me and John got a clean start on that first corner, I think we would have something ended up differently. But that's part of racing. My front spoiler and back spoiler got hurt, my wing, in that first incident, the 2 incidents, yeah. And from there, my car couldn't handle as it should. But yeah, other than that, I made a mistake on the first corner on second race as well. I braked too late. But other than that, it was a lekker. It was a hard race.
And of course, you're still leading the championship by quite an enormous margin. So you're on 213 points from Richard Salio on 156, Yandro Dupin on 154. Pieter Geldenhuys, you're now up to 4th place, Pieter on 133. So it looks like all things, I don't think it's possible for anyone to beat you. So I believe you are the champion. I'll have to do my math, but as far as I know, you are the champion, and you're not able to be beaten. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, so then we can jump to our 3rd place, Pieter Geldenhuys. So Pieter, fantastic to have you on the podium. You've shown a good pace through some of the races. On some of the races, I'm gathering you just didn't have the practice, because you look like you've always been a pace setter, and then some races you were just so far off the pace. So good to have you back on the pace again and having a competitive round and on the podium tonight. So congratulations.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, I must say, first race was a little bit of a break for me, because I'm probably known to have first corner incidents in my racing, and it was hampering most of the previous races as well. And to get from the back again, it's sometimes a hard work. But yeah, got a lucky break tonight, and race 1 was quite nice. Did a little mistake when I went wide in that, but I still could manage. I think put the pull off second, if I can't recall. And yeah, second race, I think I was battling with Pieter Marais, and just a little bit outbrake myself, and I had to fall back right to the back again. And yeah, managed to creep up, and did some, and luckily, like I say, the pace did help tonight. And the other guys, some very clean racing from my point of view. But yeah, unlucky for the other guys. And yeah, I would say, don't say no for a break once in a while.
That's great. And yourself and Pieter Marais seem to have a a lot of moments and close racing, and you said you were battling with him, then you made a mistake, went off, then you seemed to catch up to him again and have another nice battle with him before you eventually got past and pulled away. So yeah, some great racing there, and unfortunately a couple of mistakes, but yeah, great racing overall.
Yeah, I must say, this car now, and yeah, so it's getting to grips with it. So we'll see how the next one goes. But yeah, congrats to Shaun as well with the championship. Great racing, mate.
All right, then let's just do a final wrap up for the evening. If we want the top driver, Jean du Toit, if you could give us your final words for the evening or any shout outs.
Yeah, thanks Dennis for hosting it. Congratulations to Shaun for taking the championship. And I'm excited for the next GT3 series.
Great stuff, thank you. And Shaun, any final words or shout outs from your side?
Just thanks, Peter. Thanks, John-Ray. And then Dennis, to you, thanks for this nice league that you had. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen in the GT3 league.
All right, great stuff, thank you. And of course, Peter, any final words and shout outs from your side?
I was to say thank you to the family that's supporting us always. My little ones, my grandchildren, they just want to come and see what Opa is doing, but then I need to chase them away sometimes. But but otherwise, thank you for the guys, and keep up the good racing.
All right, great stuff, and thank you to your family for watching. All right, then I'm going to just say goodbye to you guys. I'm just going to drop you guys out into the other channel, and then I will just say my final good night to everyone. So of course that is the end of round 7, and the following round will be from Zwartkops. So we'll be coming back home for the final round, which of course is a fantastic rendition of the track made by Dale Best. So absolutely fantastic, can't wait. Hope to see you all next week, and of course on Sunday night we will have the BMW Cup as well, so that's another race to look forward to for those of you that would like to get an extra race fixed during the week. Join us on Sunday, and remember, if you liked what you watched, to hit the like and subscribe button. And of course, thank you very much to all our sponsors. Alwin Automotive Glass, thank you very much to them. You can head over to www.alwin.co.za. Give Hilko a shout, he can help you out for any glass requirements that you might have. And of course, to all the other drivers and sponsors and anyone that's made this possible, thank you to everyone. And of course, to you viewers, thank you all. And we will catch you all next Sunday for the next race, and next week, Wednesday, for the next and final round of this Radical Cup. Thank you, everyone, and have a good week.